Hello and welcome once again, friends, family, and frenemies. We are successfully out of hyperdrive. Our reactor's locked in recharge mode, so it's time to stream once again. As always, I'm Laraziel. Welcome to everyone that's joined. Everyone who might be watching in the future, since I do enable VODs. Yay. So let's kind of get into it. Last week, yeah, because this is Monday. So last week, Thursday, we got into we got that Sunesis built, and we also went into wormhole space a little bit. We did manage to find a C1 wormhole, but it did not have the site that we needed. That actually reminds me, I need to bring that back up because I'm going to need that later. There we go. Because we are attempting to test the Sunesis in wormhole space in a C1 site, combat site called the Line. And that's still on the itinerary for today. Also, as a note, the Gnosis. I've got the Gnosis now from the daily rewards. I plan on looking into that hopefully today after we kind of play around the Sunesis. The Gnosis is a better ship for doing things in wormholes. It's like the Sunesis. It's got more, it's pretty uniform, pretty easy to get into, so anybody can do it. But we'll get into all the details of that at some point in the near future. Hopefully within this stream. If not on this stream or on this session, then we'll do it on Thursday, where I can really kind of cover it more in depth. It is a battle cruiser after all, so there's a few more requirements in relation to that as far as like ISK and such. So this one's more about just kind of getting in there and seeing what we can do with the Sunesis. We got some news as always. Monthly economic report for April got released, so we're gonna go ahead and dive into that a little bit, check some of that out, and that's pretty much gonna be it. Like I said, we're gonna see if we can get into some more C1 wormhole action. We did leave off in a Mars space last time, and a Mars space tends to be pretty quiet in regards to just, as far as it's the biggest area, as I keep saying, it's the biggest area in New Eden, but it's also so spread out, it's pretty easy to kind of get lost there. And I need to bring up one last thing. This is more gonna be for me. There it is, Pathfinder, so I can have that on the side there. As kind of an aside also, just so you all know, I did look into the SOV map. The SOV map has not changed since the 9th. So there's really nothing to report SOV wise, just as a general heads up. And that's for everything too. That's both the Alliance, the Coalition, and apparently the faction warfare side. There's been no changes, so I guess there's been no updates. That being said, I mean, I know there's some shenanigans with the Winterco, I think it was going on, and Lord still. So I'm betting there's going to be some juicy Reddits about that sometime later on in the week. At any rate, let's go ahead and pop over. We're going to go ahead and get through some of the minor news, and then we're going to get into the MRR, the monthly economic report. All right. So first business of Eve order of business is the Photon UI. And they are, in their article, they mentioned iterating and improving space conscious capsuleers. Following on from the crazy adventure that was FanFest 2022, the team is eager to get to the latest, or wow, I really can't talk today, to get the latest Photon UI updates released for you to try. The May release has dozens of bug fixes and improvements based on your feedback. Here are just a few of those changes. Chat update notifications return. A new tabbed window header in select windows, utilizing header space better. Inactive windows are more serene. Animated grain texture removed. Tab highlights are more balanced. Lots and lots of bug fixes. We like our bug fixes, so I'm glad to see there's lots and lots. It's like Cheerios, you know, you never get enough Cheerios, you can never get enough bug fixes, right? Something like that. That's not all though. The June release is starting to take shape too, with the headline feature being a compact UI mode for select windows in Photon UI. Make sure you check it out as it's shaping up to be the modern UI Eve needs as it marches towards the third decade. If they're going to include a compact UI mode, I may end up checking it out. I don't like kind of how bulky. Let me see if I can open this in a new tab and zoom it in a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, if they're opening up a compact version, just that looks like that, I'm going to be willing to give that one a shot, and I may start kind of showing that here on stream, just for us to kind of get a feel for it and get used to seeing it, because quite honestly, all this extra padding doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. That's why I prefer to go like compact mode on as much as I can. And actually, I kind of messed up when I re-enabled the ZS overview on Rick Reckerson. I should have gone to compact mode rather than normal mode. So I'll probably go back and change that real quick before we really get started in the game. But beyond that, I mean, you know, it's about that. That's about it for that, right? Here. And then these changes wouldn't be possible without the vibrant Eve online community. Please continue giving your feedback and making New Eden the best place it can be. Haven't tried Photon UI yet? Launch Eve, head to the settings menu, escape key, and enter it under the feature previews tab to opt in. Later in the summer, we will see the Neocom in Photon animated elements, and Photon UI will transition to become an opt-out feature. Okay. Hey, Jinx, thanks. Gotta rep you somehow, right? For all those watching, Jinx to care for CSM 17, I believe is what I wrote. It is coming up. I think actually today is the last day for submissions. I think I read that. Yeah. You know, Jinx has been a long-standing, huge pillar of support for Brave as a whole. I mean, it's been a pretty big honor to have them around, you know. Dojo co-director. You know, huge stuff. They take care of a lot. A whole lot. So, all you new bros, you know, Dojo wouldn't be possible without Jinx. I've seen Jinx in the dojo for a very long time, so I can guarantee you that's they've done a lot of work. I can't imagine. Oh, well, you know, we love you, Jinx. Heart. All right. That's pretty much it for the Photon UI stuff. They go in here on an article about FanFest's glorious return. I won't read too much into it, just because it's kind of like a recap, if you will. They talked about their presentations, developer interviews, roundtables, and panels, which they have a day 1 and day 2 stories links, as well as the CCP TV link. They talked about, let's see here, where does it say? Yeah, details on new factional warfare system, changes to structures, the return of the expansions in an evolved form, ship and structure customization with all new heraldry system, the role of the new interbus credits, significant visual enhancements such as high definition nebulas, in addition to numerous other quality of life improvements. The experiences that greet new players, ambitious plans for multi-year narrative arcs, and plenty more. That paragraph definitely needed some merit. There is the There's something good to be said about multi-year narrative arcs, and I can't stress this enough. I am looking forward to this. This is gonna be amazing, because lore, you know, providing space lore as like kind of a backbone, a back end to this universe, and really kind of fleshing it out. I really want to see more like that. Like, and I'm glad they're doing it. Like, they're actually doing it, and you know, hopefully this will lead into some other stuff. Maybe if they can bring this in, they can really generate some other game IPs and kind of get themselves on through. I know, gosh, it was over the weekend. There was a prominent streamer who not only went over the economic report, but they also mentioned that they had CCP financials, and I didn't get a chance to watch the stream, but I know some of the whispers I've heard around is that CCP is not faring too well. They're not faring super poorly, I think, but they're not faring the greatest. And if they can manage to get this story wrapped around, they can probably manage to get into some other IPs with it too. There'd be some really cool things to see, like different perspectives. If they can bring back Dust 514 in a probable way. If they can do things like maybe do like a roguelike with Eve's engine somehow. There's all sorts of things they can kind of build into the game, and all sorts of directions they can take it for a space game. I know it doesn't seem like it sometimes, but they're like, I mean, if you've been playing space games, not just EVE Online, there's all sorts of different things out there you can do. And EVE Online is kind of like one way to do it. So it'd be really interesting to see if they can kind of harness some of that power and some of that talent and some of that creative juice, and really bring EVE into what it needs, you know, into what it can be. Just build an ecosystem. That's what I'm asking for, CCP. Build a gaming ecosystem that is New Eden. Just retitle EVE Online to New Eden and just build an ecosystem. Build an ecosystem. I think the sandbox aspect would lead heavily with lore too, where we affect the... Exactly. Also, welcome to the stream, BRG Brig Jim 3. I'm not sure how to say that. BRG. I guess I'll go with that. But welcome. And oh, if I didn't say it, also Jinx, welcome. I don't know if I said it previously. BRG. Okay. Yeah, that's I think that's what CCP is going for, though, BRG. This, because like, if they lean into the sandbox like you're talking about, you know, with the lore, and we can affect it kind of like a Clear Skies type of setup, I think, is what I was originally talking about back during the FanFest recap stuff. So that's kind of the hope, is that they really kind of help us. In some ways, they did that with the Triglavian invasion stuff to a degree. It wasn't probably fully kind of brought in, but it was a really good start at least. But if they kind of lean into that a little bit more than they did, this will work out really well. So you're right. That's what I'm looking forward to. But I also want to see them kind of expand into other kind of subgenres too, right? Like, there's a lot of like top-down, first-person, roguelike, you know, isometric, just different various styles of gameplay that they can utilize and get into. Valkyrie was a good kind of like a second way of viewing the ship with more direct controls rather than kind of like a tertiary third-person control type setup. So if they can lean into some of that a little bit more, and perhaps maybe VR you know, maybe leaning into that a little bit more. VR is, of course, still super early adoption, but it'd be interesting to see if they can, once VR really kicks off and becomes mainstream, if they can kind of bring that experience in, even if it's in like more of a tertiary sense, in some way that affects New Eden without overly affecting the whole ecosystem, because obviously it's going to be a smaller subset anyways. So, but it would still be interesting to see if that kind of plays out, tweaks the markets a little bit here and there. And they are promising, at least so far, that there's going to be another fan fest in September of 2023. So they're planning this, what is this, about a year and a half from now, give or take a little bit. So that's good. They've got that kind of setting up. And from everything that I've seen, from all the pictures, from all the news and information, FanFest was a big hit, and I'm sorry I couldn't join you guys. Makes me sad, but that's all right. I can watch it from here. It's all good. All right, so we're gonna get into the monthly economic report again. This is something that I'll likely just kind of touch on a little bit, without going like too deep, spending a whole lot of time on it, because I'm not super chart savvy, but there are a few things I wanted to look at just to kind of see where the overall pulse was of it. We've got things like production versus destruction, which I will put up here. So mining took a huge dip. Looks like probably around April-ish. Production also took a dive. Destruction stayed pretty steady throughout. I mean, it increased a little bit after March. So April, May, it kind of stayed steady-ish. That's kind of interesting to see. This talks about the imports and exports. I didn't do that. I really want to see what pure blind looks like. See if we can find it. Here we go. What do we get? Destruction, mining, export, import, and bounties. Okay. Destruction. What is this? Import, export. It's 0.8 trillion. Come on, Brave. We got to get to 1 trillion on our bounties. Let's go. Aquarius is beating us. That's not good. We need to get better. All right. But yeah, so I mean, overall it seems pretty healthy. It's not total destroyed value. The forge got 1.6 trillion. I think if I read that right. Watchman 1.4, and the Citadel in general was 1.4 trillion as well. Aquarius was 387 billion. They did it by region. Okay, here we go. So we did 1.2 trillion destruction or destroyed value. It's not too bad. Did it again. I have a bad habit of just clicking rather than right clicking. That's my fault. Ore volume mined. We just look at single liaison. It looks like it's I'm gonna say negative 0.6. Yeah, so It seems higher than it was. So I'm not sure if that's just because of the types of crystal they're using or what. I mean, if we look at the ore mined over the asteroid ore mined over time, it's on a downtrend. But your residue is staying the same ever so slightly. Here, and this actually shows wormholes. Wormholes make up the smallest amount, whereas nullsec and highsec make up the highest volumes. Same with gas volume. Looks like we're seeing a severe dip in the amount of excess gas in Iridia. So these people here who are mining in Iridia really know how to mine their gas, which is really good. Delve and Veil of the Silent are still kind of behind, so I wonder if that's either crystal or tech 2 module related. Like Delve and Veil of the Silent just overall didn't really care as long as they were just getting something for the most part. I mean, that's still a pretty good turnout regardless. And gas mined over time, as we can see, wormholes have mined the most gas, which makes the most sense for us, because that's where we get the most of our ISK. Whereas nullsec and lowsec are kind of a close second and third, with I think nullsec actually is kind of the highest. Above lowsec is higher than nullsec, I should say. Wormhole space also had the highest amount of residue, which is also not a surprise. There's ice volume. That seems fairly consistent. The only thing that would worry me is every shore has a lot more residue in comparison to the amount they actually mined. Delve at least was doing a little bit better. Veil of the Silent was doing just as bad as every shore, if not maybe even a little worse in this case. So again, I think this is really kind of boiling down to crystals. If I had to guess, if I'm just looking at these top ones here. There might be some SP kind of some SP shenanigans, you know, what they have to work out. Ice mined over time looks like, actually it looks like highsec is mining the most ice, with nullsec being obvious, for very obvious reasons, the second highest. So those of you who want to mine some ice in lowsec, hey, it looks like it's going to be a great place to mine some ice, because nobody's mining in the ice. That's probably not a good idea. But you never know. Total mining value by region. Let's just look real quick and see what we've got for... Yeah, Delve's got 666 billion. That's funny. Where is... And this is Canid. Aquarius. There's Aquarius. 185. And there's Pure Blind. 133 billion. Okay. Alright, so that's total mining. Here's Moon Ore. This one's probably the most important because nullsecers use this as their ISK. So here we see Veil of the Silent has done really good on their Moon Ore in relation to the residue. Domain being the next highest one almost has just as much residue as Veil of the Silent, but significantly less moon ore volume. Again, this really seems like it's more down to crystals than anything else. Delve, similar to Domain. Okay. And again, residue just doesn't really look like, you know, it's residue just doesn't really look like it's hitting where it needs to. Malpus has done a pretty good job. They actually did really good on the residue, and actually in that regard, Insmother is doing really good. Insmother and Fountain, in all honesty, they've done really good with their residue to value mined. So whatever they're doing right, they definitely need to keep doing it. I really think that's skills based. I bet if we look into Insmother, we can see who's there. They probably have, you know, they're probably a bunch of miners there. So that would be my guess. That's moon ore over time again. If I really go into this, it's going to be null sec first, high sec second. I mean, you can kind of see that. Total production, trade balance, market value, the sinks and faucets. I do want to look at the sinks and faucets. But like your biggest faucet is commodity, and your biggest sink is transaction tax. Not quite offset enough. So I guess in some ways that's actually pretty good. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it. I mean, there's a lot more here. Service fees, economic indices. This goes into a full history of it. Mineral price index. Consumer price. I'm just wondering why the mineral price index went so high there back in 2021. That must have been like right before the scarcity update. So, all right. Well, now ESS is kind of interesting. It's interesting that they added this. Largest main bank thefts. If I'm not mistaken, isn't that BWF tax is easy. Double sizes the aggregated amount stolen for each system over the top 30 list. Brackets on the label show the number of times the system appears in the top 30 list. Okay. We have, here's tier 5 ZI, 1 DQ, T5 ZIS. Okay. I'll admit, I'm not really sure what that means, but it does look like HTAC 5 got quite a bit. Got hit 5, looks like 5 times actually, is what they're saying. So, let's see if I can find it in the list here. Here we go. 3.53 million. T5ZI got hit for 653 million at one point. And then they got hit again at 352. Okay, so this is a breakdown of like the top 20 or top 30 that were amounts that were stolen out of ESS at what time. So, and then this map right here shows how many times they were hit in relation. Okay. So like HTAC 5 was hit 5 times. So they're going to appear on this chart like 5 times. I got it. So their top one was T5ZI TAC S, 653 million. And that was Q. And there's that. So it only got hit 3 times. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense. Same with the Reserve Bank. I think they actually followed the same pattern. Largest thefts. Yeah. Top 30. So YTAC-Z got hit 5 times. YTAC-77 got hit 5 times. Wow. The Reserve Banks got hit at like 6 billion. For quite a few of them. Nice. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the MER. So with that, let's get going. Switch over. Go. Just have to check on a couple of things, readjust a few more things. Go. Let's do that. All right. Checking a couple things on the side. Probably helped to do a server pulse. We're at 16.7k players online, or accounts logged in, I should say. Maybe not all of them players, probably multi-boxers. So that's where we're at. And for us, we're still in our Sunesis. And I did have some unallocated skill points. I'm going to go ahead and put those towards these things now real quick. Brings Light Missiles 5 down to 13 hours. Nice. Hope to use Light Missiles 5 soon. Very helpful. Very nice. All right. So. Why was that? Oh, probably because I have it set to show. Let's change this to solar system. Okay, so we're still where we were at last time. We're still... No, we're still looking for what we need. See if I can't. Yeah. I remember we have everything in the cargo hold in order to make what we need to be effective. Well, effective. So. Let's open the agency tab. Exploration. We're going to look for cosmic signatures. Okay. Add this waypoint. So add that waypoint. All right. We'll see what we can find. But the idea, of course, is to go into wormhole space, see if we can find a C1, see if we can find a line. I'm going to start with the next system over. Away we go. Round 2. Didn't really do what I wanted it to. So yeah, guess I'll stay with the standard. Okay. All right. Another thing I like to see too is not too many in local. Doing something like this, we could hop in. We don't have to worry about trying to find a second C1 connection. We find one right here, we could just go right in. Yeah, I like this turnout. Okay. Wormhole. Stop. Check this one. Betting this one's this one. Let's warp to this one. Let's see what we have. Yeah, that other one was a combat site. Okay, 6-2. Medium-sized ships. Okay. So this one actually could very well be another one that we're looking for. Let's go ahead and scan this one. This could very well hold what we're looking for. Let's go ahead and scan this down. You know, as I've said in the past, medium-sized ships definitely indicate it's a C1 connection. So we know we found a C1 wormhole. Okay, and that was a data site. Let's go in here and pop in real quick. We'll check out the landscape. This one's going to be run a little bit different. Because in this case, we don't really need to hop through gates. If this ends up being the spot that we need to go to. Then we'll go from there. Okay. So this particular hole is actually in a pretty good setup overall. It's not seeing any structures. Base catalyst, perimeter ambush. Well, it is a C1 connection, but it doesn't seem to have a lot. It does have a phase catalyst. Perimeter ambush. No, that's right. Those had towers. Alright, so it doesn't quite have what we need. So we just keep looking. Go ahead. Swap. Reload. Probably the biggest issue with this, though, is the fact that it can't really handle anything in wormhole space other than potentially like the line, just because of its capabilities. Now, we could try something like let's do this as a test, because I'm pretty sure that if we take it into the line, while I'm still not opposed to that, I would like to see if perhaps maybe it could take on like a Santa refuge or a drone cluster or something like that. Let's see here. Eve University has a great
docking permission requested.
Kind of a guide on that too.
Docking request accepted.
Let's actually switch out real quick. That's not there. Okay. And then we'll actually just leave these here. We'll leave all of this stuff here. And we'll actually test and see if this thing is actually going to be worth it for us in high sec. We're essentially going through like Rogue Drone's drone cluster, for instance, could easily net us. Let's just start there. I forgot to put that online. That's okay. Let's make sure we're not gonna impede anybody. Okay, and we're not, so it's good. All right. Now let's give it a shot. See what happens. Nothing really to lock on to. What kind of orbit is there? There we go. Okay. Okay, so there is quite a bit of manual piloting in here. Easiest way to do this is going to probably be to activate. Let's see. Approach. Approach. So, I mean, it's definitely working with a drone cluster. And now we've got a Alvador. Okay. Got some more. So this isn't bad, if you wouldn't say. You know, if you need some quick ISK, you get quite a few that just kind of come through, and Sunesis is actually holding up pretty well. Let's change the
module has run out of charges.
1,000. And now that's reloaded. Hit that. Okay, and that seems to be the end of them. We'll see exactly how much that brings in. For now, let's see. There's a Sancha Refuge, which that's supposed to be a level 3. Before we do that, I'd like to see. There's a drone assembly. Also a level 3. What about a drone collection? No, there's no drone collections. Okay. Well, let's give the drone assembly a shot.
Warp drive active.
First, we'll just make sure that we're not impeding on anybody else. Helios. A Mackinac and an Orca. So they won't be upset about this. Okay. So yeah, let's just try the assembly and we'll see kind of where this brings us. Do that. Okay. Cluster. Okay, so from what I'm able to tell, I mean, it's still operating fairly good level. Honestly, all things considered, really. There we go. Okay, that's not it. Actually, just increase our speed here. Man. Hmm. Now, interestingly enough, since I have sustained some armor damage, as I'll show you, you want to pulse this. And only pulse it to when you need it. Easiest way might just be to set your auto repeat to off, just so that way you don't have to worry about it. You just go there and orbit that guy directly. That way I can actually hit him, because he's not really letting me hit him. So. There we go. That's a little bit better. With that. Oh, gosh. So it's level 3. I mean, the next one down would be like a drone gathering if we could find it, but I'm not going to go quite that far. So as long as I'm able to kind of withstand the DPS here, as long as we're able to complete this site, it should be okay. Excuse me. Man. Just take out the hunters. Give us a little bit more of a chance. I just have this bad habit of like, no matter what, every single time, I always forget, especially when I'm doing these low level missions, unless I'm like, I click it and I set it and forget it, because usually I have my my repper just on constantly rather than pulsing. But I don't really want to waste the nanite pastes. Stuff's better. Right, yeah. Okay. Please let me repair my armor.
A module has run out of charges.
Great. That's exactly what I don't need right now. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna leave the auto repeat on myself because I can't like concentrate like that. That doesn't work for me. However, it can tank it. Come on, hurry up. Okay. Straight too far. So yeah, if it can do a drone assembly, it should be able to do the line without a problem. I would think. Sleepers are a whole different thing. Right. These guys out first. Gosh, wow. Off. Okay, I guess I'm gonna be warping out. Because I won't be able to handle this. And they'll probably blow me up. Okay. So part of that was probably me. Just not understanding about my reload times and things like that. So these are all things that I'll be keeping in mind. But we might as well
Docking request accepted.
Finish that. We've got the capability of doing so. Let's see.
Warp drive active.
Out.
Our module has run out of charges.
Finish this one off. Let's see, get them. There we go. It's holding. As long as I can reduce the DPS on me, I actually should be okay.
The capacitor is empty. The capacitor is empty. The capacitor is empty. The capacitor is empty. The capacitor is empty.
Capacitor's not being drained. It's really struggle to.
Warp drive active.
Okay. Okay.
Docking request accepted.
All right. Let's finish this off. Right. Drones. Keep forgetting I have drones. Got payout. Oh, I did get a bounty. Not a lot, obviously. That's no good.
A module has run out of charges.
Drones seem to be doing their jobs. Delight. And that was it for that. So let's try this in a slightly
A
different
module
way.
has run out of charges.
First of all, if I could go test on just free up.
Warp drive
Let's
active.
go back. That was what? A drone assembly? Yeah. Reset.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
No, this actually might be. We're gonna go ahead and set destination there. That way I can buy more of the ammo and weapons, or ammo and nanite paste. Go ahead there.
Warp drive active.
And I'd like to take another crack at another drone assembly and see if I can essentially do a little bit better DPS wise before I try to jump into Sunesis. Obviously, it's not giving us a whole lot of ISK. It is high sec, but even still, I mean,
Warp drive active.
it's just a question. It's been a long day for me, so been a lot going on. But I mean, I didn't complete them in too long a time, so
Warp drive
10
active.
minutes. 6 minutes to get half of it. Not a whole lot. I mean, for high sec, you're better off probably mining in that particular regard, or even just day tripping. I mean, day tripping alone will get you. But of course, this is all pertaining to the idea that you're not going into this with the expectation that you're going to get dead sites, which would drop significantly more loot. I think it also drops you into low sec most of the time,
Warp drive active.
which is unfortunate to. Sites.
Warp drive active. Docking request accepted.
Let's see. let's just buy 1,000. And then I paste. Station go. Buy another 75. Alrighty then. And then let's buy some more phase plasma as well. Let's buy another 500. We of course won't need that much, but I would much rather be prepared than not. All right. That looks valid. Okay, let's go back and see if we can find another drone assembly. What would that be? Counters? Exploration? Combat anomalies. Here we go. There's your refuges. There's drone cluster. See if that kind of so. Assemble. Could also do Sancha Refuge. The Forlorn Hideaway. There's 2 Sancha Refuges. There's. Only difference is this one's got. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they've got troops. We'll find out. I'll head over there and see what it looks like. It says 100K. And there's loot, which could be possible true Sancha ammo. There's a possibility of a module that could drop and a mid-grade Nirvana. So the whole point, honestly, if what Eve University is to be believed, if what they're saying is true, essentially running these sites could get you things like, because there's 2 loot drops, a sentry tower, and a missile battery that drops usually T1 ammo. The commander wave drops as the true Sanchez cannibal, and that has the potential of dropping the faction loot. I believe there's just not always a chance that it drops. Yeah, and it may escalate it into the Sanchez Command Relay Outpost Complex. And the escalations are usually what you want because you have a higher chance of getting the loot. But, like, let's say you were to do it, right? Generally speaking, you got true Sancha copper tags, which run at the estimated value is about 10,000 ISK. And this all drops from the true Sanchez cannibal, which is the commander. The true Sanchez ammo, which can go from 6k to 58 million ISK. My guess is that's just dependent upon how much drops. You got the true Sanchez module, which goes from 10k to 190 million ISK. Again, it depends on the module. And then a mid-grade Nirvana implant BPC, which goes from 15 million to 50 million ISK. That's rare, along with the module. The module and the BPC are going to be rare, while the ammo and copper tag are pretty much 100% drop rate. So you'll get something on top of your loot, on top of the loot from the Sanchez dudes. So there's a lot of reasons to do it. Just one of those things of kind of why would you want to? In our case, we're running some tests. We're wanting to see how the Sunesis holds up to and this is a level 3 site. They don't have the triggers marked here, which is a little unusual. Maybe it doesn't have triggers. Maybe it's just kill and then go through. So we'll find out. Let's go, let's start by taking out the batteries. Ow. Ow. Cool. Alright, Hobgoblin's doing their job right away. Probably want to set our drones to focus fire. Maybe I can take out the bunker. Fire a volley to it, see what happens. I can? Cool. Might just start blowing up random things then. Just because I can. Tower's still not going away. Alright, let's blow things up. See what we can shoot at. And meanwhile, I will let the drones do the work against my enemies. I got stuck. The Caldari Crane Faller. Can I shoot that? I evidently cannot. Okay, I'm just wasting my ammo. It's all right. Cargo. Okay, can't shoot the gas silos. Can shoot the bunkers. I thought I could. Yeah, I can. And clearly I can shoot. Oh, hey, Nova rockets. Okay. Not gonna pass up some rockets. I can use those. I can use that. I can't use that. It doesn't make me want to use my lasers, though. Looks like that's it for our... Okay, we got a Hornet. Lookout tower. Station brothel. Let's see if I can attack either one of those. Yeah, it's taking damage. Just might as well make them blow up while we're here. Elevator. Indestructible freight pad. I like how it emphasizes that it's indestructible. So can we do that? They don't want to engage it. Thinking the answer is no. Yeah, okay. All right, well, at any rate, this resolves the long-standing issue that I had, or a question that I had, rather. Recover our drones. So we quite easily handled this particular level 3 in the Sunesis. I'm relatively confident from here. I mean, the only other one we could try to do is like a Sancha Den, maybe. But I think we'll be okay from here.
Docking request accepted.
All things considered, we actually had quite a bit in the way of DPS. So it's really just about like mitigating the tank. We'll have to go back in. Actually, stack. Oops. Clicked the wrong. Go ahead. Scourge. Put those back in. And then should have everything. All right, let's go back out and let's keep going with what we were originally doing. We'll go ahead and try to find ourselves a C1 connection and we'll go from there. This is actually a pretty decent place to start, all things considered. These are actually all very close together. That's good. Let's see what kind of hits we get. Okay, got a couple pretty decent hits. Might be able to get it. Really hoping that wouldn't echo.
Drive active.
combat site. Let's check.
Warp drive active.
Okay, that's another combat site. Probably a C2. I may go ahead and see if it's a C2 or C1 static. That sure would be good to find. Let's see what this one turns out to be. Combat site. Okay. Let's see if we can find them. In you go. Okay, so C2 with a C3 high. And this is its high sec connection. Let's just go back. Oh, there's... Oh, it's a worm life. Okay. Nice. All right, let's check out the agency. Let's see. Cosmic Six. In Pimbeka. Understand high sec. And we point there. I don't necessarily want to go to a Mar. Not opposed to that. All right, let's try these ones. Let's see if we can find our way through. And we'll see what we can grab. How big is the system?
Warp drive active.
I guess it really is that big. It's surprised me. I wasn't. I thought I was in domain. Oh, yes. All right. Well, hey, this actually worked out okay. Salvage. Okay, let's see what we can find. All right, combat site. That's actually an interesting thing to think of too. Let's see if that shows. This one's a war. Sorry, I'm also checking out Eve University at the same time. Got some ideas for this if this thing lives, and even if it doesn't, I've got some other ideas too. I'll just grab another one or grab another ship just like it. Likely like a C2 or C3. It's how hard just to scan down.
Warp drive active.
X702. larger. It's like a C2, C3. And I may still pass through that again. It's one of those, because I think X702 indicates that this is the wandering connection. Okay, here's another connection. Check this one.
Warp drive active.
See if this is a C1. And I'll go from there. Another larger. All right, so let's go through. We'll see what we can find here. Okay, well, this is a C2. It has a C1 high sec connection. This is actually its high sec connection. And there is also a structure. Isaac Mining Company. Okay. Nothing on scan other than that. All right, let's go ahead and save it. Let's go ahead and get ourselves set up.
Warp drive active.
No. Not to do. Right here.
drive active.
That'll work. All right.
Warp drive active.
Just because I'm curious. Huh. Okay. There. Oh, I didn't go to the right spot. Darn it. Oh, I've just been flubbing up a lot today. There we go. Okay. I'll ignore that result and we'll get going. See if we can find that C1 connection. DHJ. Bet you that's it's either a wormhole or a gas site. Gas site. Okay. KZR. Actually, already pretty close to a connection or a celestial, so it may not have needed to expand. Yeah. Yeah, probably a good thing that I did. Okay, data site, and I found the token perimeter. Not that we were looking for it. But hey, we found it. Actually, if I remember correctly, that one had. As kind of an aside, if we find a gas site that's not a token perimeter, we could inevitably actually just go after it. The sleepers in a gas site will provide us with a little bit, with a couple of millions, and I mean clearing them would, at least net us something. So it's not entirely a bad idea actually to go after. And it would give us a good idea as to how the ship holds up against sleepers. We're talking about that. In a gas site. Like a token perimeter, for instance, DPS is 76. Oh, okay. So it doesn't have. So yeah, we might actually consider that then. Just to see if it can hold up against the sleepers, because that, if that's the case, like the blue loot is 1.8 million. Just go collect the blue loot, call it a day. Because in all honesty, if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. At least that's my understanding. Like, if it's not going to work against those few sleepers, it's probably not going to work on a site. I mean, it worked in a couple of high-sec sites, but those are high-sec sites, so not quite the same, but not quite not the same, you know? I hate it. Echoes like that. There's almost no way to... Yeah. No normal connection. But at the same time, if we were able to find, like... Let's see... A Baron would have kind of the same thing, but just nothing but frigates. And that might be more likely. Maybe a miner. Miner might have something like that. Miner perimeter. So we know that we've got 2 wormholes to check. The only other problem going after a token perimeters, we would have to wait the... Essentially, there's a, like, 20-minute timer. So it's really good if you're doing, like, ninja huffing for gas and, like, a venture. But in something like this, where we would have to kind of literally sit around for 20 minutes and wait for our mobs, our rats to come up, that might not be the best option. Just depending. Wow, that kind of really failed. Start warping to these. If I find a C1 through here, I'm gonna probably just take it. C647. Yep, here's the C. Let's take it. All right, so here we go. It also looks very stable. Come on. This could be our moment of truth, folks. Well, I guess not. All right, well, hey, back to the drawing board. Just because I'm curious. Holdings Corp. Well, that was kind of our shot. Actually, it's not our only shot. Let's work.
Warp drive active.
See if it opened up another C1 for us. Does not look like a C1. Nope. Possibly a C3? Does have some red. Poke in, find out. If it's another C2 with another C1 high static, go ahead and just live there too for a minute and see what we can scan down. It's a C4 with a C2 and C3 static. Okay. Really? Interesting. A lot. Definitely seems unoccupied. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and head out.
Warp drive active.
Okay. Let's head into the next setup.
Warp drive.
While I'm doing that, I have a message to send. This one has a single connection. I'm gonna keep going.
Drive active.
See if perhaps maybe we can find something with multiple connections. All right, good. Just good. Number to have. Drop these here. See if I can make them kind of blow up for me. This one. Okay. Okay, this did turn into a normal connection. Let's see if I can get the other two to tell me what they are as well. Go. See if that'll work. I may have to back this off by a tick. No? True. Doesn't show me scanning. That means it's going to be like a data or relic site. Data site. Take a really wild guess. Let's say it's right there. Nope. I clicked it. Oh, okay. Where did my client go? Did the client crash? The launcher, I mean. There we go. Another data site. Okay. Well, that's fine. Go ahead and check out this wormhole connection. If I had to guess, actually no, I don't. It was hard for us to scan down, so it could easily be a C2 or a C3. If I had to guess. Luckily, we won't have to guess. Oh, this one's about gone. Very large. Low security. Okay. This is a low sec wormhole. Alright, well, let's keep going. Give it just a bit longer. See what we can find. This one's got quite a few signatures as well. Scan, but they're likely looking for sites.
Warp drive active.
However, this actually hit pretty good. That's supposed to be a 3 out of 10 dead rating. So I could use a cruiser in it. It's actually worth it to give it a shot. Just to see kind of what we could do with it. Overseer effects are possible. Mineral compounds with a faction module possibly dropping. No, insane. No faction drones and has a very low chance to drop a single faction module. There are mineable asteroids with well, it's actually kind of tempting. Where did I? Oh, I see. Okay. There we go. It's data site. Finally, the last one was just the one that I was originally trying for. Oh, good. One is a wormhole connection. Oh gosh.
Warp drive active.
Oh. Large ships, unknown. Eh. I'm gonna say this is probably a C2 connection. By the way it looks. Okay. What do we have here? Holy rocks. This is a C2 with a C4 high sec connection. All right. Well. Sorry, Misa. I know that was kind of a bit of a run. It was just, I was spinning all over the place. I was having lag issues, and I noticed on my feed I'm starting to drop some more frames. So I was trying to work some of that out. Well, let's give it one more go.
Warp drive
See if we can find something else worthwhile. It's starting to get pretty late for us. So. Just got a single one. I'll go ahead.
active.
Whoosh by that. This next one should have 3 signatures. For us to kind of poke around at. Yeah, okay.
Warp drive active.
Okay, good. Have ourselves another. Come on, lucky number, whatever we're on. Because I don't remember how many of these we've tried so far. Quite a few. Five, actually. I could just look at Pathfinder and count them. We tried 5. Technically, we've tried more than that. But I guess I've only gone through like 5. Our 943 is going to be a C2. Okay, condition. I'll see what is on the other side. A C2 with a C2 low. Okay. There aren't too many cosmic SIGs here either. Let's save it. Gotta get back.
A module has run out of charges. Warp drive active.
Yeah. Just trying to scan this section. Might be a little too high. Yeah. Oh, it's too far out too, apparently. There we go.
Warp drive active.
Okay. gas site. A sizable gas site going to have 2.4 million in blue loot, for those of you that are curious. Not exactly something we're looking for, but not exactly out of the question if we were interested in waiting that long. Shit. This one had... Okay, so the high sec was the wandering. It's got a C2 static and a low sec static.
Warp drive active.
D382 low sec. Okay. Which means the other one is likely sec. Oh, sorry, this is the D382. This is the C2 connection. The other one is probably a low sec. Yeah. Okay. You can call that successfully mapped. Okay. All right. We'll just wormhole. Same stuff. This one. Okay, this C2 has a C1 high sec connection, so we're in luck on this one.
Warp drive active.
There aren't too many connections. Right there will be okay. So we're pretty deep. walk around a bit and make some scans, because may not have been friendly. May not have been me. We're gonna find out. Ah, as I thought. There's more than just me hanging around. I cannot see them, however.
Warp drive active.
I bet they came from the high-sec connection. So we'll be making sure we keep a bit of an extra eye on our D-scan. Let's go see if we can find that C1 wormhole. Do 4AU scan. Let's go ahead and this.
Warp drive active.
See what we can find. This is a K162. Larger. Okay. This one's a minor, which means the only other ones we have are our statics. Let's see what we can find. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe this next C1 that we've got kind of poking around here will be the one we need. Here's one of. result. Don't get confused.
Third drive active.
There's mine and theirs in there now. Let's see. Which one is this? pt.2. Isaac. Just rename it Isaac. That way we have a surefire way back home. Okay. All right. This should be our high sec. Or not our high sec, our C1 connection. And no filter. Just too ignored. It's really struggling now. Not sure if that's the servers or if that's just me. And just for the record, yes, sure enough, Z647, definitely the hole we're looking for. With yet still no However, the C1 also has a high set connection. All right. Well, here, but back to high sec. That was kind of our last shot for the night on that one. The unfortunate truth of that is, you know, sometimes it's just how it works in wormhole space. It's very hard to build a ship that can handle multiple different types of sites and wormhole at kind of a lower ISK value, and then even still find them. So like you have to find your hole, and then you have to find the sites. So like if we had plenty of C1 sites, but not they weren't all doable by this particular ship. And we landed in Galente space. Interesting place to be. Let's see here. Wait. We're all the way out here in Essence. Okay. We're actually not too far away from some of the other places we're used to hanging out at, actually. It's pretty cool. Let's see how far we are to Samela. Only 15 jumps. All right. Yeah, sure. Let's actually head back to Samela. So yeah, like I said, it wasn't really that bad overall as far as content went. We know what the limitations of the ship are, at least for high sec. If you wanted to do some combat sites with it, you definitely could. It should be able to handle missions okay, things like that. So it's not like it's worthless or useless. Just we didn't get a chance to test it out properly in wormholes because we don't have the site required based on what this can handle. On one hand, like I was saying, it's not, you can't really build a ship for one site. You kind of have to be able to make it withstand the highest level site. And this was really more or less meant to be a test. So I can tell you for certain that at the very least this is good for for handling high sec sites. Like if you need a ship that can handle high sec fairly easily, this will do it. The only problem is that it costs, let's see, not including the ship itself, costs about 20 mil to make all of this work. Make all of this work. You could probably do it for cheaper. Way cheaper, in fact, because we did, of course, build this within the hopes of getting a few of the wormhole sites, and take it on, like, say, level 2 missions, or even those high sec combat sites. Like if you use it as a scanning ship and you scan sites down and then you run those sites in high sec, chances are you're gonna turn out okay, because it can run those sites, and you'll be able to find drops, and every, I think it's 10, you get a escalation. So it's not like it's unfeasible. It's definitely a good backup ship to have. It's fun to have, just to have something else to do at that time period, or at that point. So, excuse me. So it's like there are options for it. I just really wanted to see how it would perform in a wormhole situation. But I do know Gnosises are decent in wormholes. If you're going to use a Gnosis for a wormhole, you can usually use it. You should be able to use it comfortably in a C2. I don't know about a C3. Normally, you're going to want to use a Praxis in a C3. You could easily actually use a Praxis in a C2, but it's kind of overkill. And that's kind of like where it's at. So, just kind of like the overall push for the whole thing. But either way, I mean, and that's actually where our focus is going to be on Thursday, when we pop back live again, is what the Gnosis can do, what it's capable of doing. Probably looking at a similar setup. I will probably...
Warp drive active.
Well, finding a C2 site isn't actually difficult, especially in a Mars space. So either way, we'll probably go ahead and just set up if we're kind of scouting out in a Mars space and seeing what the Gnosis can do. The practice is not something I'm going to get into because the practice's fit is going to be expensive. So it won't be something that I can necessarily show on stream just because there's no way we're going to have those kinds of resources before then. However, I mean, even still, like there are things we can go over with the practice that make it viable. Now, as far as from a PvP perspective on the Gnosis, I had a lot of fun running a ham Gnosis, and that was an enjoyable experience before I lost it to our eviction at Spoopy. But you know, what can you do, right? From here on out, you know, I think it's probably about time we go ahead and call it. I hope y'all have a wonderful night. I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. And I'll see you in the verse. Bye now.